What's up, everybody? We got a very exciting Envoy exclusive video for today about the reworked A-Force team, and we're going to have a lot of speculation as to what is going to be added to this team, because this is not the end of this team's rework, which is actually really cool, really exciting, and fun to talk about. Let's gossip, right? And then we're also going to have a update on the current event, Bounty of Asgard. They fixed it, they made it a good event, now the store is way more valuable, so I'll tack that on in the end so we don't have a billion videos coming out on the channel today. Get into it. So I'm going to start this off with one of my favorite characters in the game, Spider-Woman. I love Spider-Woman's kit. I think her special with the offense down, heal block, ability block on the primary target that is unavoidable is really, really powerful. And it comes with 100% focus. I love this ability. It was a big part into how we were beating Darkhold before we got all the Darkhold counters. With that in mind, she didn't get much change. She got additional health, armor, resist. You can see those numbers there. And then on passive, so on turn, she's going to heal herself and all secret defender, that in mind, and A-Force allies for 5% of her max health and apply 1 immunity up to a maximum of 3. We're going to talk about secret defenders. That's where the whole gossip part is going to come into play. Next, let's talk about Jessica Jones. She got very minimal stat changes. She just got a bump in her armor. Her ultimate, though, did get a little love, so she's now applying 1 defense up to a maximum of 3 to self and all A-Force allies, not Secret Defender in there. She's going to generate 1 ability energy for herself on this turn, and then her passive got a nice little tweak too, a little addition. On turn, she's going to heal self and all Secret Defender allies and A-Force allies for 5% of her max health and apply 1 defense up to a maximum of 3. So we're getting a lot of defense up from this character, whether it be from on spawn, from her using her ultimate, or from her passive. It's all pretty cool. Next, we have Nico Minora, and she got quite a few changes that are very nice, actually. So stat increases, she's now going to hit 25 or 26% harder. Her armor stat is 10% higher, and her resist stat is 45% harder. But this is where it's more interesting. So her special now still does the attack, still does the adjacent, still does the bleeds, but it's adding disrupt into the mix. I think that's going to be very important. She also got a new line in her passive. So we're seeing kind of like a hero Asgardian type passive change where they're all kind of doing something and they're all healing. So on turn, she's going to heal herself, all Secret Defender allies, all A-Force allies for 5% of her max health, and then she's going to clear 2 negative effects. This is really cool. So now we have defense up coming from Jessica Jones, immunity coming from Spider-Woman, and negative effect clear coming from Nico. So what is Captain Marvel going to bring? Alright, so Captain Marvel. Now, I would have liked to see a damage boost to her, given that she just kind of got nerfed in war with the removal of the military benefits. That's okay. So stat increases, armor again by 16%, and then resist by 32%. Her special got a really nice change. So now, on war offense, it'll fill the speed bar for self and all A-Force and Secret Defender allies by 20%. That is not an on-spawn effect. That is a special effect. That's going to be important when we talk about what this team might be being used for. This attack also gains 1,000 extra focus. I wish it was unavoidable. I wish it was unblockable, because that does seem to be an issue for her as well. But we'll see if she can get that remedied elsewhere. Passive. On turn, she's going to heal for 20% of her max life. She's always done that. On war offense, heal self and all A-Force allies for 20% of this character's max health and apply 1 deflect. So now we're getting deflect out there. So on her turn, she's doing 20% only to A-Force allies, but that's a lot more than 5%. So it's a really, really nice big heal. And then she's still giving military and A-Force allies 15% max health and damage. Notice Secret Defender is not added to her passive like it was the other 3 characters. It's going to be important. And that's our 4 A-Force reworks. So very minimal reworks, except that word, Secret Defender. What is a Secret Defender? You know, whenever there's some kind of rumor or some kind of unknown, I like to go check out Tauna. And Tauna does have an amazing, fantastic, good video about the potential for Black Cat. That is a Spider-Man kind of anti-hero, if you will, to be added to Marvel Strike Force. And I think she would fit the role of Secret Defender very, very well, simply because she's girl power. You know what I mean? So A-Force has that kind of a theme to it, as does Young Avengers. A-Force counters Young Avengers is kind of a nice little addition there. And I think she'll be fantastic in that role. And I kind of think this is going to be an Underworld style rework. I think she will have the Secret Defender tag, but I think it goes beyond just that. So anyway, if this is an Underworld style rework, then who does this team counter? Two options. It's either going to counter Gamma, because that's what Underworld did, right? When Gamma was released, Underworld came out and Underworld started beating Darkhold so we could focus our attention on Gamma. So I kind of think this team might be being positioned to beat Gamma because we're going to use Nowhere on the Infestation team. The other option is this team is going to be beating Infestation, which would take less tweaks. It would, like, the fifth character to be added would take a lot less tweaks to make A-Force beat Infestation than the fifth character would need to bring to make A-Force beat a Gamma. To beat Gamma, you'd have to have a whole bunch of stuff. You'd have definitely have some turn meter in there for sure. Turn meter rewind, maybe an anti-safeguard apocalypse thing, which is Bunker's idea. Charge strips. There would need to be something really intense in her kit, or in whatever the Secret Defender's kit is, in order to counter Gamma. But that's another thing. Secret Defender seems to be a tag, not a character. There's no character called Secret Defender. So this also kind of makes me wonder, if it is Black Cat, is she going to have multiple purposes? Is this Secret Defender, think of another team that's starts with Secret Avengers was a skill raid team. Is she possibly going to be a tech character and come along with a tech raid team that might be doled out over a couple patches to make sure the Krakens are still using cores on the tech lane, but also to kind of get them soothed, because I know a lot of people are mad they can't be completing the raid at 100%. I would not be surprised if that is the case. In fact, I'd be very excited if that is the case. Imagine a character like if Mr. Negative was released and he slotted in and made a raid team, a war team with rework characters way better. And they started taking out like the number 2 best war defense team. But he also pivoted and was like a plug and play and brought together a new Crucible team or something like that. That would be super exciting. I also love the fact that this is basically going to be adding value to people who built up their A-Force team for the Famine Scourge, because they didn't really get the benefit out of that. A-Force is an amazing war team. They do take out a lot of things already. So for them to be doing a rework on them and introducing the Secret Defender character tag, whatever the case may be, tells me that this team is about to go nuclear. Like, this team is about to be the number 1, maybe number 2 war offense team. Well, I guess it'd be number 2 next to Nowhere. There's no way this team is better than that. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then it goes to the theory crafting side of it. So what would this team need to beat Gamma? Well, they already have the speed up, but Red Hulk has the faster speed. They would need to find a way to make the A-Force team go before Red Hulk, and not just one of them, but like all of them. That team would then need to be able to kill all 4 members except for Red Hulk, and then they'd probably need to have Safeguard to protect themselves from the Red Hulk battlefield effect, or a way to erase the battlefield effect. Think of like New Warriors and Crucible, how they can just crush it by basically killing all 4 members, and then Deathpool comes in and one-shots Red Hulk. It would have to be something like that, but also able to kind of withstand the ultimate from Red Hulk, because in War, every time you hit a Gamma member, he gets a charge. So by the time your A-Force does all their moves, he's going to be ulting on you. But even if they find a way to make the entire A-Force team go first, the Safeguard and immunity that's on Red Hulk will protect him, and then he's going to ult. And he could wipe you out with a Gear Tier 18 Red Hulk. Trust me, I've seen that damage firsthand. It's crazy. But anyway, they would need something like that. Nuke all 4 Gamma members, which is really hard to do with them in War, and then be able to withstand the Red Hulk ult. Conversely, for Infestation, not much they need to do. A little bit of speed bar to make... well, Jessica Jones won't go first in this case, right? Because Big Time takes away the controller speed effect, or speed bar that she gets on spawn. There would need to be a way for the character to go before Nico, strip the Spider-Man Big Time of the immunity, for Nico to then put the trauma on him, and then for Spider-Woman to go before him and put ability block on him. And then you're done. If you can stop the Big Time from taking his first turn, which is exactly what Nova does with the turn 1 stun, then you'll win. Team will fall apart. Without you being covered in trauma, defense down, blinds, all that kind of stuff, you'll beat the Infestation team. So in order to do that, it wouldn't need to be much. Like, say Black Cat came in and she gave the A-Force members probably 40% speed bar. Maybe 30, 35 would work too. Because Nico's already at 128, which I believe is one faster than Big Time. I think Big Time's a 127. No, Nico's 129, isn't she? Nico's 129. Spider-Woman is 128. And Captain Marvel's 127. Yeah, that's how that goes. So they would just need to be a way to come in, get the immunity off of Big Time, get the ability block on him. You're done. You're going to win that fight. I'm kind of leaning more towards this team being able to take out Infestation and Gamma remaining the counter, needing Nowhere to be the counter. Now, I think this is fine. And then you might think like, well, then offense is just going to heavily outpower defense like it has very recently. And my counter to that would be, you're not taking into account Big Boy Apocalypse. Seems to be on defense. Wherever you put Big Boy Apocalypse, whether that be with Darkhold, Gamma, or Infestation, it's going to net you a win. And then people are starting to get scrolled. Not at the lower end, but at the higher end. And I think, when I think why they release war teams when they do, I think it's for the higher end people. So now Super Skrull goes on defense, and he can go with Gamma, or he can go with Infestation, or he can go with Darkhold. And then there's another loss there. And then it becomes a balancing act for alliances on how they're going to be tackling these teams. Just my food for thought. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this A-Force rework in the comment section below. I know it's very, very minimal on the 4 characters, which tells me that 5th character is going to be instrumental. Similar to how Mr. Negative came in, and because of his speed, because of the Underworld tag that he gave to people that activated Taskmaster to go faster, I think this character is going to have that sort of an impact on A-Force, so they didn't want to change too much on the A-Force because they are already a very good team. Which means this team is going to be bonkers, in my opinion. They have to be bonkers. They're going to beat Infestation or Gamma. I can taste it. If this is just another Darkhold counter, it will not sell. It will not leave the shelves, so it's not going to be that. So I'm very interested to see what's going to bring. All right, that's it for the rework talk. Let's go talk about how they fixed this. All right, so myself and many other content creators had big concerns about the current Bounty of Asgard event that needed you to get these Apples of Adun in order to push and get the month. Like the way it was shaping up, you needed to have gear tier 16 Nowhere characters, or you needed to add in an additional like 1,200 energy a day or something, which is just such a big price tag on that they've never done for the monthly events, and we were worried about that. We all had questions for them, and then they gave us this answer, which I think was very good, and they acted very fast comparatively to what they've done in the past. So, the Bounty of Asgard event went live today, but the Apples of Adun drop rate in campaign nodes was initially set significantly lower than intended. We'll go with the new rate soon. The drop rate will be upgraded to the intended amount, and a big bushel of Apples of Adun will be sent to all players' inboxes very soon. We understand that some players may have purchased and used energy, including refreshes, during the reduced drop rate for this event. We will gather data to determine which players will get additional compensation shortly. We appreciate your patience and enjoy spending those golden apples in the event store. We're definitely going to have to look at the event store now because this changes everything. One of the most important things they said there, though, is that they're going to be looking at the players who did spend money, who did spend a lot of energy, and going to compensate them appropriately, especially the people that bought the offers for the Apples of Adun. Now that we're getting so much more from the campaign nodes, they really have to look at those characters carefully and make sure they got, the worth from their dollar. Anyway, let's head on in game and look at what they've changed. The first thing I think we should look at is the compensation they sent out just for this happening in the first place. They sent everyone 12,000 of Apples of Adun, which is going to be a nice big boon to the milestones that we need. So if we go to the Bounty of Asgard milestones and we see that monthly item, we need to have 76,800. So at first glance, 12,000 doesn't really scratch that. It gets you about 1/7 of the way there. If you're missing Nowhere, you're still going to be quite far off from. So they also adjusted the campaign nodes. And when I say adjust the campaign modes, I mean in a big way. So the most important change, I think, is that they basically made it so that the more energy you're spending, the better it is. So if you're farming these nodes here in the new Nexus campaign, you're actually getting, I don't remember how much it costs, 15, and we're getting 120. And then if we head on over to the Heroes Assembled, we spend 15 here. This is still 120, yes, so that is the right amount. And if we spend 12, we're getting 90. So they made the conversion rate from energy to apples make sense. And obviously, guys, if we're just looking at that apple amount, it's wow. Almost by a factor of 10 have they changed it. So I guess that's not quite true. We were spending 12 energy and getting 13 apples. Now we're spending 12 energy and 90. This has greatly increased your buying potential for this store, which is what I want to talk about now. But just know, Now with that new energy amount, with the 12,000 we got, with the free claims we're getting, with the milestone for doing raids, which is on the web store, you should be able to complete this event at least to the monthly item. I'm not sure how much further than that. Very easily. Now keep an eye on Discord, because Scotty and Cell are both on my Discord, and they both do great milestone markers for you guys. You can see what you need to do to hit certain. And that's going to be fantastic. First of all, look, I got 16,000 of those apples now. So Kang the Conqueror is in there, and I said this in the video, and I'll say it again. If using, 7,500 apples is going to unlock Kang for you, then do it. If using 15,000 on Kang is going to get you a star increase on him, do it. That's definitely the best value. Kang is just game-changing in Arena, Crucible, War, everywhere. And he's usable in raids too, at least for now. Otherwise, there's a lot of good raid characters in here, from Agent Venom to Invaders. You don't need those characters super big to function in the raids, even at higher difficulties, but definitely get them unlocked. And consider if it's going to get you a star higher. Then we have the gear tier 18, which is what I'm personally buying, but that's just because I don't need the shards on any of these characters. And the rest of the gear, at least for what I put evaluation on, isn't there. There's not great evaluation. It's 5 pieces for 10,000 apples. I've already bought one of them. You need 44 pieces total for 1 piece of gear on 1 character. Keep that in mind. The value's not super good on these, but to get these anywhere is very difficult. So for me, it's worth it. Buying one of these is the equivalent, I believe, of an entire raid day or half of a raid day, which is cool, which is why I'm going to be doing it. Anyway, that's what I'm going with. I don't think the dark promos are worth it. The T4s are definitely not worth it. The silver promos are not worth it. Then we get to like gear tier 17 and some other gear here. 2,000 for 5 of these uniques can be worth it, depending on what you're doing. So if you need like the osmium or the chromium, the new ones that they brought out for Quicksilver and for Val, if you need those because you're lacking on them and you're using those characters in raids or bringing them to Dark Dimension, I think that is of good value. And I think the Catalyst is pretty good too. 10 Catalyst for 250 apples. That's the equivalent of farming the node 3 times. So think of that as what, 45 energy? 45 energy for 10. You don't get that kind of conversion on energy ever. And catalysts are very rare. In fact, I'm gonna scoop that one up right now. Anyway, so I wanted to give them props for fixing the event, and not to take away from them doing the right thing, but I want to give it bigger props to all the content creators in the Envoy program that went to bat for this. I know I myself was there the second this went live. We were hitting them up for it. I saw Valley Flying doing it days before I did because he read ahead, where I was just reactive. He was proactive. I know Pathfinder was in there too. I'm sure I'm gonna miss people, but I know all the content creators were in there. I'm sure Mr. Hargrave was in there, ER and DM. I know everyone went to bat. I just want to give a shout out to all our amazing content creators in the Envoy program and outside the Envoy program in helping make good changes. I'm sure the player's voice, I don't know, they're probably off player voicing or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye-bye. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.